back to the Political Common Sense Podcast, where real talk meets real issues. Straight from the barbershop to the kitchen table and every community that's tired of being ignored. I'm Leroy Glover, and I'm here again with my brother since day one, Eddie Blacknick and Kerry Langerback.
How we doing, folks?
Last week, we opened up a big question. Are we open are we being governed by the people we elect or the billionaires behind the curtain? We saw a powerful reaction to that episode. Our inbox blew up, our chats lit up, and folks had one main thing to say. We just want leaders who get things done. So this week, we're keeping it going. We're asking, is Trump's brand of populism replacing traditional policies altogether? Is he giving people what they want to hear or what they actually need? And is that a good thing or a dangerous trade-off? Because here's what we see happening. When Trump says, I hear you, I see you, and I'll fight for you, millions of people believe him, no matter the policy. But is that real leadership or just emotional marketing? The main talking points for today's podcast is Trump connecting emotionally while skipping over policy details, or does his popularity reflect deep support or just deep frustration with the system? Ed, Kerry, what's your thoughts on that?
Okay, can you repeat that?
Okay, all right, here we go. Is Trump connecting
Don't do
emotionally?
it. Don't do it. He's
It's a
fucking with
joke.
you. He's fucking with you. That was hysterical. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ken. You want to go or you want me to?
No, go ahead. I'm laughing too much.
Okay. So the first thing I want to say is those who blew up your inbox and those who like turned around and said, you know, we want leaders who will do what they say they're going to do. Well, I'm gonna say something to those people. This is to all of you people who said that, all right? And
Right.
listen close. You're freaking geniuses, all right? And I'm gonna tell you why you're geniuses, okay? Because everybody, and I mean everybody, knows that what Trump wants is for the best for the country. They can fool themselves and they can lie to themselves and they can
That's
accuse
right.
him of different things. But deep in their heart, they know he's trying to do it. The phrase you're looking for, Lee, that makes Trump so strong with everybody, it's when he says, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just
That's
in the
right.
way.
And
Okay.
that's the
So
truth.
that's the phrase that kicks everything in. Now,
I
I'm gonna tell you
remember
why.
that.
Hold it.
That's right.
Let me finish. Don't interrupt me, man. No.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so here's the deal. All right. So the reason that I say those people who blew up your inbox with those words are geniuses is because those people will accept going to a brain surgeon who has a very bad personality to have a tumor removed from their brain rather than going to a dentist who's a nice guy and doesn't know shit about removing a tumor from the brain.
Right.
Okay. So that's why I say they're geniuses because they can
Right.
see the forest through the trees. They
Hmm.
can actually see that it's better to have something done right by someone you don't like than it is to have something done wrong by someone you love.
Good saying. That's true.
Nice. Okay.
It's all true, man. I mean, he's doing the right thing for the country. I mean, think about it. He didn't have to
No,
run for president. He didn't need to do this.
as far as just saying that, this is a man who, like, okay, I'll give you a great example. Okay, so Tesla stock went down. Everybody's like, "Yay, Tesla!" Oh, the left. Well, yay, Tesla stock went down. When
Which is
Tesla stock went
disgusting.
down, it lost.
Disgusting.
A lot of people lost money in you know. Then the stock market goes back up, and they're accusing them of insider trading. So
Yeah.
what are you doing? You know, pick one or the other. The best was you know who Rachel Maddow is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Maddow. Okay,
I
so
try not to.
about a month and a half ago, Rachel Maddow and who's the other one? Oh, what's her name? Reed.
Oh, Joy
Joy
Reid.
Reid. Joy Reid.
So about a month, and also Joy Behar, the three of them, all
Right.
turns around and goes, "Well, I don't know. I understand there's a contract now for Tesla vehicles to be made. You know those what do they call those cars that he makes, the big ones, the Cybertrucks
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Cyber.
Tesla Cybertrucks to be made bulletproof." So Joy Behar's response was, "I never voted for any of them to be bulletproof, and I don't know why I'm making this man, this billionaire, richer, and that's why Trump wants him there, and this and that, right?" Joy Reid, exactly the same thing. It's Trump, padding padding Elon's wallet like it needs padding. And then the other
Right.
one was Rachel Maddow, that it's unconstitutional that he's that close to the government and he's getting those type of contracts. Now, let me give you the truth. The truth is Biden made that up. And Biden came up with the idea of bulletproof Cybertrucks. And it was for his military, his security use.
Right.
Trump canceled it. Trump canceled it. So it's the exact opposite. And the thing is that these people will never turn around and say, I was wrong.
Nope.
And if
Nope.
you just did that, everything would be fine.
That's
But they
right.
can't do it. Instead, you know what they do? They go on to the next one, to the
Mhm.
next one, because you're going to forget about it because now you're on the next one. So you're going to forget about the last bullshit they gave you. Oprah. Let's take, because Oprah was a big thing with the election. Oh, she's going on Oprah. Kamala's going on Oprah. Blah 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 blah. Oprah is the biggest liar on the face of the earth. You don't believe me? Ask Weight Watchers. Okay, she
Yep.
was supposed to go on Weight Watchers, and she was supposed to have lost all this weight stuff. Turns out she was using Ozempic. Okay, she was using drugs. All right, so she lied to everybody. She never did Weight Watchers. She just outright lied.
And got
They do
millions for it.
And the other thing is like they talk about how Trump only wants to help his rich friends, right?
Right. Right.
I had 2 to 1 billionaires. Okay, two for every 1 billionaire that Trump had supporting him. Kamala had two. Okay, 2 billionaires. Now, these billionaires on the left telling you that Trump's looking to make his billionaire friends rich.
Even more richer. Yeah.
You think these billionaires give two shits about you? You think they give two shits about you? You
No.
Who was the fucking idiot? Give me a minute. What the frick is his name? Um, Pat. What's his name? Oh shit. He was in Batman, the last Batman. I think he's going to become Batman. He has 3 names. Joseph something or other. He was in
Oh,
the Son. He played Tommy.
yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Right, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, exactly. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in a commercial, and he goes, "You know what I'd like to tell you," and this is the way they talk because they're never fucking happy. They're never. It's like, this. You know what I got to tell you? It's not that. No, it's this. You know
They're
what
not
I
happy.
do? And it's the total monotone. Listen to the commercial, and I'm almost doing the exact. It goes like this. It goes, "You know what I want to tell you? Donald Trump just gave me $70,000, and he's doing that at the risk of your funds and your Social Security. And I won't take that $70,000. First off, Donald Trump isn't giving you $70,000. Oh, and he goes, and he's not offering it to you. He's only offering it to the upper, upper
No.
earners. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now let me explain something.
People are jokes, man.
Let me clue you into how this works, okay? Yeah, he's offering you $70,000, but that's $70,000 that you paid into taxes that he's giving you back. That was your money, and he's just
Right.
giving it back to you.
That's
Now, a
right.
poor person will not get a $70,000 tax break back because they didn't pay $70,000. Wake the fuck up!
No, they can't. They can't wake up.
And if you don't think, let me tell you something else. If you don't think that he's going to take that 70 grand, and to tell you the truth, I would give him credit if he took the 70 grand and donated it to some charity. I would
Right.
give him credit because that's what I would do. I'm telling you
That's
honestly, that's Gary. You know I'm
Yep.
not lying about that shit. When I
Yep.
tell you I
Same.
would do that, that's exactly what I would do.
Same here. Well, wait a minute. We gotta put We gotta put a little. We gotta put $5 away for socks, man.
Socks. Yeah, that's so admirable. Anyway, we got a midget named Harry. No, anyway, but seriously, I'm telling you that there's no way that he's not going to take that 70 grand.
Nope.
I will kiss a sewer rat. Okay, I
Okay.
will kiss a sewer rat. If
All
he
right.
does.
Sure.
Okay. Let's move on to the next main point. The working class connection. Why do so many
Hold on one
blue
second.
co-
Hold on one second. Gary, lean your head against mine.
You silly.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Why do so many blue collar Americans, black, white, Latinos, feel Trump understands them better than anyone in Washington.
Because, dude, because
Because
he's straight, okay, in terms of he's not trying to be outrageous. What it is the
right,
Democrats assume that they have all the normal people sewn up. This is what they assumed. Okay, so African American have uh, voted Democrat for God knows how many years, which I never
50
understood from the
over
beginning.
50 years.
Yeah, but I never understood that anyway because you had people like Robert Byrd, who was like a Democrat, who was KKK leader. You
Right.
had, I mean, you can go
Yeah.
all the way back. You can go all the way back to the Civil War. Okay,
Right.
the Civil War was North and South. Okay, it was what were the two names again? Union and Confederate. That's it.
Yeah.
But
Confederate.
you got to give me a second. I'm old. So you had the Union and the Confederate. The Union was the North, and the
And
Confederate was.
Confederate was the South.
And guess who wanted to keep the slaves? Guess who wanted to keep slavery in effect?
The
You can't say
Democrats. The Democrats.
Confederates, which are the Democrats.
Seriously. If you look it up,
They
they
fought, they
yeah,
fought Lincoln. They fought Nixon. No, I'm just kidding.
they fought Lincoln.
They fought Nixon. So, they fought Lincoln to try to keep slavery alive. Now, fast forward to today, and you want to stop in the middle, take a look
Yeah.
at Robert Byrd. Robert Byrd was a Ku Klux Klan. What's wrong? He also was Hillary's mentor. Look
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
Look up Robert Byrd
Wait.
and Hillary. Look at the relationship. Okay,
She went to his funeral when he died.
That's right. She really did. She not only went there, she eulogized him.
Yeah.
Utilized.
Yo, this is no joke.
I sound like Derek. What's his name? The model. What's his name? Zoolander. Derek Zoolander. You utilized. You know.
No, but really, this is no joke. This is what these people did. But
Utilized.
yeah, yeah, no joke, man. It's
Yeah,
serious.
seriously. So
So
I never
so
understood.
so so Trump, in essence, he's the real deal. He's not your fake politicians that's just saying stuff
No,
to
no.
get votes. He's really in it.
He
You know
he
how
kept
me
his
and
promises.
we
He
are.
kept his promises, man.
Like we can joke about anything and know that we love each other, man. We all
Right.
us.
Yeah,
There's nothing but love between us,
yeah, yeah.
dude. There is nothing you could say to me as a person, except that you weren't my friend, that would hurt
Hold
me.
on. You just brought a
There's
tear to
nothing.
my eye.
Okay, no, I'm serious. I'm being really
Yeah.
serious. There's nothing you can't insult me because anything you say,
That's
I know
right.
it's a joke. I know it's a joke. I know you don't
Right,
really mean it.
right,
You know,
Right.
right.
well, that's the way it should be. You should understand that. The problem is at the other side, you can't do that with them. So
No, you
now what they
can't.
want to do is they
They're
want to
too
control every morsel of your speech, of what you can hear. And then the funny part is they turn around and reverse it and say that's what the right is doing. And that the right is stopping us from reading books. They're banning books. That's the best one. I love that. You've
Yeah.
heard that books are being
Yep.
banned.
Yeah.
So immediately, I don't know if you ever seen any of my
That's
things with
funny.
Facebook, but I'll see something like that on Facebook, and it'll say, "Well, this book's been banned," and the first thing I'll do is I'll say, "From where?" And then
Right.
you'll find out it's like St. Charles Elementary School. You know what I mean? It's not like a national library. It's St. Charles Elementary School, grades
But
1 to 6. So they don't want St. Charles elementary school kids reading about anal sex.
right.
Okay, and
I
that's
was
what the
just
book's
about
about. And there's
right.
something wrong with that. And then
That's what these books are about. Right.
what they do is they take the most extreme example, okay, and no one questions it, which is what really bothers me. And they'll post that. So it'll be something like Keating, Charles Keating, the writer, and he'll say like, when they tell you not to read a book, that's the book you want to read.
Right.
Dude, you're saying that to someone over 18. But if you're saying that to someone under 18, you could be arrested for grooming. Because if you
Yeah.
tell them to read the wrong
Sure.
book, okay, if you specifically tell a kid, go read this book, and this book is about, blowjobs or whatever, and you're sending
Yeah.
this kid, you're putting it in their
That's
mind. That's
that's
grooming.
what
Okay.
that's what this book's about. Right. They're about porno.
So what I'm trying to say is,
It's crazy.
as far as the libraries go, they should be handled exactly the way we used to handle VHS movie rentals, which had that back
Right.
where
Right.
sensitive, they could go back there and read it. But the regular library just had G-rated stuff, and and other than that, that's the only place I will say that there should never be a ban on books is public libraries. Anything that's available to the public. When you get to schools, schools have every right to the same way to decide how they want to teach you algebra. They have every right to not have a book there if they don't want it.
Right. And these are not books, educational books, by the way.
And
So
the other thing is like
yeah,
they say, well, the right is trying to take our like our
free
what's the
speech and all
no like our choices away. Okay,
choices,
but
choices.
the truth is they're taking the right's choice away because the right's choices they don't want it. So you're forcing it on them. So you're taking their right away, and that's okay. But they can't turn around to you and tell you
Right,
a school that
right.
they want,
That's true.
that their
And,
community pays for, that
right,
they handle all of the bazaars and they handle all of the plays and they handle all of the street cleanings and they can't turn around and tell you I don't want that in my school. And there's something wrong
yeah,
with that. You
that's
got a
right.
problem.
That's right.
It's just dumb. It's someone who just wants to go against the grain. Now, the way this all started, because I've actually thought about this a long time. Actually, where this all started, this clashing, all started, was back when you started having ambulance chase of lawyers, because everybody was looking for a lawsuit.
Tort
So
reform.
everybody was trying to come. Everybody was that
Yep.
that jailhouse lawyer where remember Living Color? Remember Living Color?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like Muslim, and he's like, "Well, you don't understand the importance of my non-legitimation." And that everybody became that. Everybody became that guy, and they all
Yeah.
think everybody thinks they know the fucking law, and they got
Right.
no idea.
And they
Do
don't.
you know why people are no good with the law? You want me to tell you? Because they think singularly. And what I mean by that is the law is like a diamond.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different faces, and you've got to figure out which face applies to which.
That's
And
right.
sometimes multiple faces can apply to the same thing.
That's
Okay,
right.
it's the
I'm
same
doing it
thing
now.
about maturity. Okay, so you have kids. I'm going to use the term kids up to about 30. Let's say about 30 years old. Up to about 30 years old, everything is black and white. Everything is yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. At about 30, you realize life has nothing to do with yes or no, and it's all gray. It's
Right.
all what if. Because what if happens? Dude, you want a great example? Look what happened to you today with the gremlins.
Oh,
Now, my man here took this shit apart, moved it to another room, brought it back, didn't change one thing, put it back exactly as it was, and it didn't work.
Right.
That's a what if.
Shit
What if?
happens.
Shit happens. Exactly. It's Murphy's Law. Whatever can will go wrong. And that's kind of the way you've got to view things. And they don't have that ability to
They got
adapt.
mentality. Yeah, they don't have that mentality to adapt.
So when in their mind something's going wrong or they're being disagreed with, they go into a temper tantrum like a child.
okay, well,
Right.
hold on. Hold on. Going back to what
Ex-
we talked about. Hold on. Going back to what we talked about last episode on the doctors and the masters and all that stuff. Why is that? Are they doing? To me, it almost seems like they're doing it in purpose because it's obvious that they're educated. Why are they doing that?
Now, again, you're saying educated.
Politics.
Well, educated is a perceptive word I'm going to use. Okay, and educated is what you perceive it to be. Some people perceive education as being told something and remembering it. Is that educated? I don't know. Other people are taught how to think. Is that educated? I don't know.
I don't
Could be
know.
any one. You've got to use all of these different facets in order to be educated. So you've got to be able to assess a situation. You've got to see it in its simplest form, and then be able to take it through different routes to see what really might have been.
I
And
like that.
that's just not there. It's just
And
what's
right.
taught today, what's taught today in colleges. You've got to think this way. You've got to accept this, and this is what it is.
And
See,
that's it.
college in the
No.
'60s were huge on protests, and you would say, "Well, that's uh, what's the word? What's the word when you have common things in common?" Okay, so that you would say, "Well, the protests of the '60s have a lot in common with today because they're protesting." No, in
Right.
fact, it's a diametric opposite. Okay, it's literally a diametric opposite of the '60s. The '60s they protested choice. Today they protest to put you in line.
Right. Right.
Ooh, you
They're
just
bullies
touched on
today.
something right there.
Yeah.
I don't think the masses really should know what you just touched on right there. You
Right.
want to actually educate us and enlighten us on that different perspective there, because that's
Well,
interesting.
okay,
Yeah, they're
so
bullies today. The
well,
protesters are bullies today.
yeah, in the '60s, I mean, I'll even use a comic. I don't know if you guys remember him, Lenny Bruce. Lenny
Yep.
Bruce was a comic who there's a movie out called Lenny. He said a bad word. That's the actual title of the thing. He was a comic who used, and then also I'll tell you about
Yeah.
Alan Freed. That's another one. Alan Freed, you got to know Alan Freed. You being in the music, you
Yeah.
got to know who Alan Freed was. Okay, so let's go Lenny first. Lenny was a comic, and Lenny was like Richard Pryor before Richard Pryor was Richard Pryor, and but worse, but like worse. He got into like really major subjects on stage, and this was like in the '60s. You know what I mean? So it's early '60s. So it wasn't really acceptable. So he was basically like blacklisted from everywhere, and they were trying their best to arrest him.
Yep.
And as I said, Lenny said a bad word. Alan Freed. Alan Freed was a disc jockey. Okay, one of the most famous. I'm talking about. He was Howard Stern before Howard Stern was Howard Stern.
Oh, I love the
Yeah.
Howard Stern. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was
Yep.
this guy brought Chuck Berry. He brought the Satins. He brought
Temptations.
say about the ABC. He brought all of these people to
So he was
fame.
a
Yep.
trendsetter.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
He was
He
a
was
trendsetter. He was
he was a
pushed
disc
all
jockey,
boundaries.
58 or something like that. So you would think with all of these connections, with all of these stars around him, with all of these, the hottest radio show, blah blah blah, he would have money. He died penniless, okay,
Right.
because he believed in what he did, and it's just you know that's
You
what's
just
kind of
That's
that
what's
he
going on today.
right. So his protest was through the music because they were trying to stop him, but he wanted you to have choice. So if you didn't want to listen to rock and roll, you didn't have to. But he wanted to let you know you could if you wanted to,
You
and that's
could
what
if you wanted to. Right.
um Lenny, you didn't have to listen to vulgarity. You didn't have to. It wasn't necessary. But he didn't want to be
Yeah.
stopped from saying it.
Right.
In Berkeley, it was the same thing. They didn't want they wanted to be able to have free speech, free expression, this and that. Now you go fast forward to Wall Street. When what was it called again? Wall Street. What were you doing in Wall Street?
The Wolf of Wall Street.
What? No, no,
The
no. It
Wolf.
was that protest they had. They
Oh,
were
the
calling.
protests on
Oh.
Wall Street. Right, right.
I
Oh,
forget what it was
yes.
called. And it was about one thing, and it wasn't about a choice. It was. It, that's their problem is they they're protesting to keep you locked down rather than open something up. And a protest
Mm.
should be about opening something up.
Right. Yeah.
It should be about expanding your freedoms, not taking them
Right.
away.
And this is what these protesters today. That's what they're doing. They're taking away your rights of what you believe in. I
And
mean,
it's
look, they're
Now,
bullies. They're bullies today. They really are.
now, n- now, you brought up an insight that's that it puzzles me how like places like China would restrict their populace from seeing like Facebook or YouTube or anything. Why are
they're
the
only allowed,
politicians,
they're only
why
allowed
are
on
they doing that?
they're only allowed on TikTok 3 hours a day in China. Did you know that? They're only check it out. You go
Yeah.
Google it right now.
That's
Google
it. Yeah. Seriously.
it. And they're only allowed to watch mathematic videos
Ah.
and videos that are pro China,
Educational.
pro China government and mathematic videos. That's
All
all they're allowed to
educational.
watch for
Yep.
3 hours, and
So,
only
Yep.
3 hours a day. And
so
meanwhile, we're letting our kids watch this TikTok 17, 18, 20 hours a day.
And stupid shit.
And you can't figure out why they're beating us in reading, writing.
Right.
so there is something to their madness then of restricting their populace of people from actually having access to all this free social media and internet I guess inquiries. There must be some type of sense of a purpose for that.
Okay, so dig this. I'm going to say something right now that's going to blow your mind. You ready? Okay, so if Xi Jinping, I love saying that name. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
I
a
got to try something. Hold on.
zing zing.
Say it again. Say it
Xi
again.
Jinping, Xi Jinping, Xi Jinping. I just
See?
love that word. I don't know why. I just can't tell you.
Anyway, so here's the deal. Okay, Xi Jinping was
Zing zing.
smart, and he is smart, but he's not brilliant because he's allowing his control side to take over, and he wants to control everything too much. But he's got his society tuned, and the way you would tune an instrument,
Right.
tuned to such a degree that he could play the Blue Danube blindfolded. He's got more discipline and more intelligence. Okay,
Hmm.
in every category, from music to computer chips to robotics to cars to he's got more intelligence because of the way he disciplines his country that
Yep.
if he just would make them happy now, he could have the most prosperous country in the world. But he can't make them happy because that would reduce some of his happiness.
So the foundation that the infrastructure that he has in place right now, if he westernized it and turned it into an open society, would it flourish at a
Sure.
rapid pace, or
Yep.
would it decline?
Dude, I make a
So
joke all the time
it
and I
will
say,
flourish. It would
yeah,
definitely
I make
flourish.
a joke. Like when we're at, like we're having issues with like Tehran and all of these places, right? I do a joke and I say, dude, just put a couple of planes together with a couple of strippers on them and let
Right.
them jump out of the planes with the parachutes. Let them parachute down. Once these guys see what it's like to have a nice life, they will put their weapons down and revolt. The problem is they've never tasted a good life. So they
Right.
don't know what it's like to go to a bar and play pool. They don't know what
Wow.
it's like to
Right.
go and turn on a TV and lay back and watch your couch, on your couch. And they
And
don't
just
understand.
relax.
They don't
Right.
understand what it's like going to their refrigerator and having anything that they want because their wife went to the store today. They don't, they got to walk, 80 miles to the store and pick up a week's worth of shit
Hmm.
and hope that it stays well until they get it home. And
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So they're just not happy.
If they had
It,
the taste of our life,
the easiest thing to do, okay, is to create an epidemic of comfort. Okay, once you feel comfort, that's it. You're locked in. There's no going back. There's
that's
just no
it.
going back. It's like a boxer, man. Like Tyson's a great example. Okay, so you think of Tyson before he got money, and then think of Tyson after he got money, or think of anybody,
Right.
anybody. Mr.
Right.
T, Mr. T. He was the
Mr. T.
three-time toughest man contest, best bartender bodyguard. Look at him in the A team. He's a clown.
Yeah.
Look at him
Yeah.
selling sneakers. He's a clown. Comfort, man. That's what happened to Rocky. Remember Rocky? That's what Rocky 2, 3, 4 were all
3.
based on.
He was in 3. Yeah.
Well, 2, he was famous. He came back and he actually won that. But he in the beginning, he was like soft as could be. In 3, he was running around with the stupid fucking robot thing with Paulie. In
Yeah.
4, he had to go to Russia because it was too soft here. In 5, he was living in the same area in Philadelphia, and he
Right.
wasn't really working out. 6, he 1, 7, 8, 9.
I mean, really, how much more can you go?
There's another one coming out, dude, in like a year or 2. I'm looking forward, really, guys. All
At
kidding aside,
7.
we got it. We should sit down. We can do this. I'll explain to you how later. But Spinal Tap is coming out. They're redoing their movie.
Oh,
And no, I'm
cool.
serious. It's a new one, and it's the original guys. At 80 years old, they're going to try to make a comeback.
Oh,
What
God
I
bless.
get the movie and we can watch it together this way through this. I'll put it
That's
on
gonna
here.
be funny.
We'll all watch it together one night.
Okay,
Anyway,
we'll do that. We'll
yeah,
do that.
serious. But that's the point. Well, once you get, that's what Trump is trying to do. Remember when Trump turned around and said we're going to make Gaza Strip into the new, what do you call it, the new Trump Plaza or some shit?
Yes, yes.
The idea is once you give somebody comfort,
That taste of comfort, they're gonna love it.
Everything gets gentle. Everything gets
Right.
easy.
They'll
It's
love
when
it.
you have all of that crazy hatred and anger and pain. You want it to keep going. You want to give it to the next person.
Listen,
It's contagious. It's the
right,
same way happiness is contagious. So is pain.
right. I mean, look at
Okay.
these people. Some of these people, they play around with goats. What do you rather have, goats or strippers? Ah,
That's bad.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay.
right?
All right. Let's shift back. Let's shift back to the role of emotions in politics. Are we seeing a shift from facts and data to feelings and branding? Does
Actually,
Trump's
reverse that. Reverse
Yeah,
that.
oh
Going
yeah,
the other way. We
yeah.
used to
Good
be
one.
feeling. Now we're going to facts and data. That's
Now
the
we'll go.
difference. FBI and
Right,
Doge. Okay,
right.
yeah,
That's the
FBI
difference.
based on
Right, with
feeling.
Doge.
They have Doge, which is all based on receipts.
Right. Yo, Doge is finding out even more. They just went into Social Security. Forget about it, man.
Tell
Right
them, Kerry,
now,
tell them.
yeah. What Doge found in Social Security is they got non-citizens collecting Social Security.
I think it's like 1.3 million non-citizens collecting Social Security.
Yeah, altogether in Social Security. You ready for this? I got it written down, brother. 150 billion in Social Security.
Gary, do you have the number on how many people over 120 were getting Social Security?
How many people?
Yeah, do you
Uh,
know? Because I
not
think it's 1.5 million or something like that.
yeah. It's about that. But
1.5
altogether,
million over the age. Wait, check this out, dude. How about this? A woman's pregnant, okay? The baby in her stomach is 7 months old, and he got an SBA loan, a Small Business Association loan. In vitro. In vitro. He couldn't even sign the fucking check.
is
He
that
couldn't
is
even
that
yeah,
a
sign the
Guinness Book
check.
of Record?
What are you gonna do? Stick it, I mean, come on. What is he gonna stick his arm out? I mean, come
right.
on.
But
I'm saying,
not
like, get a pen, man, quick.
yeah. It's crazy. Yo, they were listen to this. There were
Remember that
kids.
kid?
There were
7
kids.
months he was in the womb, and he got an SBA check for, I think it
Yeah.
was like $1 million or something like that. No, maybe it was 500,000.
Yo, they have kids from 2 to 5 collecting. They
Yeah,
have
true.
yeah, 2 to 5. Yo,
And
you
it's
know,
like 1.5 million people over the age of 120 were
yo,
collecting.
2 to 5, bro.
So here's my question. What Elon and Doge, that organization, found, are we stopping it? Is Congress helping the Doge movement to actually capture this money, or are they just
Sure.
sitting on their hands?
Well,
What
the
they
Democrats are sitting on their hands.
Okay, I'll step back. Okay, what were
No,
you saying?
the Democrats are sitting on their hands. That's for sure. You
Well,
know.
to give you an example, the Stacey Abrams, the loan. Okay, Stacey Abrams, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
$2 billion.
$1 and
$2
Yeah.
billion.
so the year before Biden was leaving office, this same organization made $100. That's how much it
Yep.
made, $100. The next year Biden's leaving office, how much does it get? $1 billion.
Yep.
So how much of that do you think got kicked back to Uncle Joe? How much? How much you think got kicked back?
Out of $1 billion.
10%. Big guy. Does that sound familiar? 10% for the big guy. That
Yep.
sounds familiar.
10,
Oh, yeah,
10%, buddy.
10% for the big guy.
He got
But
10% all around.
the other thing they got back was something I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had something to do with the immigrants, where it was like $220 million. They were giving out for like housing or some shit, and they got it back. What it is it's not even so much about getting it back; it's about not letting it out again.
Right.
That's really what it is. Getting it back, and believe me, in some cases they actually are getting it back. But for the most part, that's not even important. What's really important is that we might have had to try to get back this year too. So this year it's not going anywhere. And
Right.
the best part about it is, like, the first thing I'm hearing, or the main thing I seem to be hearing about Trump, is he wants to take your Social Security, blah blah. And that's why Elon Musk has your social. And that's the best, man.
That's why
Elon
he found
Musk
it.
Social
That's why
Security,
Doge found it.
dude. Do you not understand that Elon Musk owns PayPal? And so any transaction you do online, he not only has your social security number, he's got your bank accounts, he's got your freaking blood type. Okay,
Yeah,
believe
Right.
me when I tell you this. Okay, so and the other thing is, I doubt very much a man with $70 billion is worried about your $2 grand. Okay,
Right.
I doubt it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And on top of that, it's they seem to be pushing the idea that he's trying to take the Social Security, when what they don't realize is that by him going after the fraud, the actual deserving people will get a longer Social Security benefit.
Right.
Like,
The elderly.
every
The
now and then, say, well, maybe it'll get raised, and that's not going to happen. Okay, they're not going to raise your Social Security. You can
no.
forget that. Okay, that's a
Actually,
but it will at least have the longevity to get to where it should be, to take you to where you should be during your retirement. Whereas right now, if we keep giving it away to immigrants, to fraud, you're not going to have it but 3/4 of the way through what you're supposed to. So,
here's
well,
the thing you can
here's
do is,
another one. Real
but
quick. Here's another one on the Social Security. This is coming. Okay, you ready? AOC. Family was
oh yeah,
cashing her dead
14,
grandmother. I repeat, dead grandmother's Social Security checks for about decade
14,
and a half, $3,400 a month for
yeah,
14 years.
14
For,
years, dude.
right,
Did you hear that? How much was it again? How much? 36 what?
Thir-
How much?
3,400 a month for 14 years. It comes to
So get out
47.
your calculator, figure out how much that is.
I got this.
$3,400 a month for 14 years. AOC's family was cashing.
And they're worried about Doge, right? But Doge found this now. Found this.
And
Okay?
literally, a couple of shows back, you asked me why they're so concerned.
Right.
Dude, think about it. Why are they so concerned? You know, it's funny because you'll find out the ones that complain the
You ready?
most. Yeah, go ahead.
$47,600 they collected in 14 years. Off, and she's
No,
been dead.
it's got to be more than that.
476. Sorry,
Right, 476,000.
sorry,
Yeah, almost half a million
476.
dollars. Almost half a
400,
million.
476,000 for 14 years.
Yeah.
And
Do you remember?
OC.
Do you remember
Wait a
that?
minute.
Wait
And
a
here's the
minute.
best part. OC said that Elon Musk is getting a kickback from this. Yeah, okay. Look
Yeah,
who's getting kickbacks.
that's who's getting kicked off. Do you remember when Bloomberg was running for president, and he used, like, I think it was $550 million for his campaign, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the reporters, I forget her name, was some chick, turned around and said, "Well, there's 330 million people in the United States. He could have given each one $1 million and still had money left over for lunch." Do you remember that? And she
Yep.
went on TV shows and said it, and those other fucking idiots turned around and agreed with her. There was one guy, I swear, I wish I could find it. I wonder if I could look for it right now. Anyway, one of the guys turns around and goes, "Well, they put up the tweet she put out, and I could see it too. And it was like, Michael Bloomberg used $550 million. He could have given each one of 330 million
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
It's a, dude, no. He could have given them $1.25 a piece. That's what it comes to. $1.25 a piece. Not $1 million. Not $1 million. Okay. If there was 330 people, yeah, then it's $1 million a piece. Okay. Fucking morons. And
Right.
now here's my concern. In the world where there's so many safeguards where you denied access to different type of documentations or different this and that, how in the world the social security organizations and agencies, all these government agencies, don't have the same safeguards to prevent this type of corruption from and all these payouts taking place unless they're involved with it or
right.
Uh,
unless we're being
Dude, you
hacked?
beat me to it. You beat me
You
to it.
just hit the nail on the head.
The thing
They're
is, the
all
safeguards
in,
are there, but
they're
they
all
tell
involved.
people who are in charge how to get around them.
Right.
So once you give a person, oh man, once you give a person a way to get around something, expect them to take it.
Well, here,
Expect them to take it.
Here's a good example, brother. That guy from the USAID, the leader that
Yeah,
passes out the same thing. See, he got fired. He resigned because he all the money that they were throwing away. He's watching it. You have to watch. So they
yeah.
are involved. They are involved.
Dude,
Okay.
there's nothing special about them. This
No.
goes like, all the way down to like cable installers, to cable TV installers. Dude, you'll have a cable TV installer come to your house, and he'll hook you up, and he'll go, you know, I know how to flip a switch, and I'll get you all the channels for an extra $75. And that's because somebody told him how to get around it,
Yep.
and so he knows how to get around it,
Yo,
and
bro.
that's what they do there. It's I'm
You,
sorry, that's just
I
the truth,
remember
man.
that.
Yeah,
I
yep.
that's just the
remember
truth,
the
man. That's
cable
what I'm
guy
saying.
saying that.
Yep.
He
Yeah,
would be like,
get
"Hey, for
around it.
extra such and such, I can give you all
Absolutely,
the
it's 75
channels."
bucks, man. I'll click it on V. You got nothing to worry about. Nobody will know. I'll take the bullet off of it. That's what they used
There
to
you
call it.
go. Listen,
And
you
that's
you know what
the
else? What? You know what else Doge found? Unemployment. You want to talk now? They just found more false unemployment. People were collecting unemployment. Like I said, 2 to 5 years old. They had people over 115 years old collect unemployment as well. Unemployment right now is 140 to 150 billion in fraud and waste. Unemployment.
Yeah.
That's where our money. That's where our money was going to people that don't even live here. Uh, some are dead.
Yeah,
So, so
that's
here's
huge.
my question. Here's my question. Is this money that's being allocated to these different individuals, are they residing in America or are they residing in other countries?
Well,
Could
no,
be
they're here. It could be either one. Yeah, but right
either
now
way.
it's here.
And even if they're here, that doesn't mean that they don't have
Right.
connections to other
Right.
countries. So they could just be representatives here. Like
Hmm.
you know how you get those calls like from India. They're like, we want to give you car insurance. We want to give you, we need your Medicaid number. Okay. So in some
Yeah, that's a good
situations,
one.
you'll actually have that here, like in the United States, calling you, and they actually are here in the United States. For the most part, it's like Jakarta. It's like all of these New Delhi and all of these different places. And I have a lot of fun with them. That's the other thing. I have a whole lot
Oh,
of fun.
really? You're gonna have to
Oh,
tell me
dude, I
how
have
to
a
do that
fun.
because I get bombarded at least a
Oh, okay.
dozen times a
So
day.
wait.
Really?
So here's a
Oh,
great
I
one.
got this.
This happened to me about 4 years ago. Okay, so this happened to me, no, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 6 years ago. I get a call, right? So the first thing they say is they want to be your friend, right? So they go, "Hello, how are you today, sir?" Right? So the guy calls,
Are
he
you,
goes, "Oh,
are you
how are
ready,
you?"
bud?
So I turned around and I went, I'm not doing so great. So he goes, "Oh,
I
what
remember that.
what's wrong?" So I go, "Yeah, I just adopted a dog." He said, "Oh, well, that's a good thing." I said, "Well, no, not really, because they found his owner." So he goes, "Oh, you have to give him back?" I said, "No, no, no, no. It turns out the owner's dead." So he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He goes, "No, no, no. That's a good thing." Okay, the owner was rich, and he left all the money to the dog. So he goes, "Oh, well, that's good." I said, "No, no, the dog don't like my neighborhood, so he wants to move out."
You don't do that. You don't do that to them, do you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really do.
he
No
does.
shit, I
Yeah,
really do. I
he
have some good,
does.
man. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
no,
he
the
does.
dog don't like this neighborhood, so he wants to move out. So I'm gonna lose the dog.
No. So these people could be annoying. Seriously.
Yeah, I get him to go up and down like that. Yes, no, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm sad. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with them. Actually, I really
Okay,
do.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and
But
So,
what Doge found in unemployment, it could be anywhere. It could, of course, it's here in the United States. It's all over. 150
yeah.
billion in fraud right now. Right now.
Do you
And
know
on,
if this keeps up, I swear to you, this is the truth that we have an actual possibility of clearing our worldwide debt in
right.
4 years
Yeah.
if
so,
this all keeps up.
here's my because I'm still trying to grasp the whole digital domain world that we live in right now. Because we
It's
were
not
born in an
easy.
analog world,
It's not
so
easy.
so I know exactly. So are these systems being hacked through like firmware to actually dispense this money digitally to these accounts, or do we know that information, or how's this are people actually applying for them in
Yeah, it's
person?
all hard. It's all hard paper, man. It's not
Yep.
digital shit. And in fact, in fact, it's so much easier to do it with regular paper than it is digitally, because digitally you have a lot of tracking. So in other words, like if you do, like right now, we're doing this. There is a piece of our computers, your phones, my computer, that will have this forever, right? If we do it on paper, I can burn that paper.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
shred it. I can do anything
Yeah.
with it I want. I can get rid.
Right.
Hillary had to go
Right.
through shit to get rid of our shit. Okay,
And that's what it was done.
and
Right.
that
And
didn't do
that's
it.
what was done over the years.
Right.
That's
Okay,
why
so
people got away with it. People
yeah,
got
so
away with unemployment.
to like put in a proposal, let's say, like what was DEI for agricultural services, like a tree cares if you're white, black, or Spanish. You know what I'm saying? So, and you got to put that in. So now you're going to do a proposal. So if you do the proposal online, that proposal has an imprint, a template everywhere it goes. So that's traceable. If I do it on a piece of loose leaf and I hand it to you at a later point, what all of the signatures that are on that loose leaf can be shredded.
That's right.
Nobody knows who signed for it or who did what.
Right.
So that's the scam.
Yeah.
Everything is done
Sure.
person to person versus digitally.
Did you ever hear of
Sure.
something burn bag?
No, that's the first time I'm hearing
Okay.
that.
So like Enron, for example, okay? So Enron needed to get rid of a lot of like files really quickly. So they do two things. They shred it. That's number
Yep.
one. And then every now and then, shredders can only do so much before they start breaking down and whatnot. So they have things called burn bags, which are these bags that are specifically used to burn the files. And it does it in a safe way with minimal carbon and this and that. And they just, so they're actually burn bags. That's what they use them for.
Okay. Interesting. So the Doge organization is finding it, exposing it.
Sure.
Here's what I'm not getting any information back from the media. Is it being canceled, or are they stopping the payments, or is it just being exposed
Cancel,
and it's not being canceled?
canceled immediately. And what they can't cancel, like to tell you, like,
Oh
give you an
yeah, they
example.
stopped that payment now. They have to.
Well, like I'm going to give you a great example. Okay, so like they found a bunch of buildings that like we were supposed to have workers in
Yes.
that have been filled since COVID. So you're talking about 6 years. These buildings have been vacant, and we're paying like $5-6 million a year upkeep, plus taxes, plus the fact that the
Yeah.
rent you're losing that it could be rented out. Plus, I mean, when it all comes down to it, that building is basically draining about $60 million a year. And there's like, there's a ton of them. I'm talking about hundreds of them at this point.
Yeah.
So they can't, the people are still registered as working there. So they would have to keep that particular space open. So what they do is
Right.
they offer you a retirement package. Get out, retire now. You get $85,000 or whatever, and then they close down that building, and that's what they've been doing. So
Nice,
it's
nice.
immediate. It's an immediate, even when they can't do it immediately because, like, employees are there or something like that. They figure out a way around it. But something like, like the Social Security thing with the 150, with the 120-year-olds, they just
Yeah.
cut them now.
That's
So what
crazy.
they did was, do you remember when they turned around? He said, "Listen, I'm sending you an email, and if you don't answer it, I'm taking it as a resignation."
Right, right.
Right.
What
Sure.
about that? People were in arms about that. People were freaking out about that.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, if you're fraudulent and you're not really working there and stuff, you're not going to answer it. If
Right.
you let's say you died during
Right.
COVID, but someone's collecting your check through,
Right.
Quick Pay or whatever through the bank accounts,
And that's
you know,
what's going on.
answer it. You're not going to answer. So at that point, he's taking it as you resign, and that's a way to find out who's fraudulent and who's not.
I
Right.
It
love
shouldn't
that.
be that hard, dude.
And seriously,
You could turn around to anybody any day of the week and say, "Listen, name 5 things you did at your job. 5 things, just 5 things you did."
Oh yeah.
It's not nobody's asking you to fucking figure out, what's the distance between here and the sun in centimeters. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing that. You
right.
know,
Just 5 things.
right? Dude, could you do that in 5 seconds? No
Oh,
joke.
easily.
And really, what is wrong with someone who owns is a boss trying to see if you're working or not? I mean,
What are you
there's
doing?
there's
There it
nothing
is.
wrong. listen, how we grew up, right?
Oh,
Wasn't that the always way it was?
that's
What are
what
you
it
doing?
was.
You have
Yes.
to answer. You
What
have
you
to
do?
answer what you're doing.
Right.
Yes.
What'd you do today?
There it
Thank
is.
you.
School.
Okay.
They ask, what'd you do today at school? At work. What'd
Th-
you do today at work? It's not
right.
a fucking
Right.
question.
And you got to answer your boss too. Like you say, well, what'd you do on the fourth floor? Whatever you. Well, I did. You have to answer, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So what's wrong with it? These
Yeah.
people are just freaking out because they're not there.
That
They
part
just,
right there.
they
All
just,
right. Let's move to the last question before we end this. The strong man appeal that Trump has. Do people want a leader who challenges the establishment or one who becomes the new establishment? And is this how democracy evolves, or how is this? Are there another side to this?
you want that, Kerry? Or you want me to go?
No, go ahead, bro.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you that neither one of your options fit it. What the people want is someone who thinks from self. They don't want an establishment. They want. Okay. So as I said earlier, okay, like he said that they're not coming after him. They're coming after you. He's just in the way. That's
That's
what
the
they
truth.
want. They want a leader who stands in front of them and actually wants to take care of the country and keep them safe. And they'll do their part, their part being like, joining the military, that taxes, whatever. They'll do their part. But they want to know that the person they put in there that they're paying to do their part is
Right.
doing it also.
Right. And
And
it's a leader.
the attraction to Trump, okay, let me tell
You
you,
need a leader.
if you don't think it's amazing, he got the youth vote. Do you know how long it's been since a Republican's gotten a youth vote? Youth vote,
Yeah. Yeah. I
age,
don't even think. I don't even
decades,
think Reagan got it. Right.
no, decades upon decades. So what I'm saying is, people see something in him, and you can hate him, and that's okay. Again, I have no problem with anybody hating him. But if you hate him, you're not really looking at him, in my opinion.
Right.
You're listening to what everybody's saying about him.
Right.
Stuff I want to
And
say
that's the
this.
problem. You're right. That's the
First
problem
of
with the
all,
Democrat Party.
this goes to anybody who listens to any left leaning, reports or anything like that. Look up what a Nazi is. Okay, look up what Hitler was. Okay, before you compare um, Trump to Hitler, at least let him have killed one person. Okay,
Yeah.
Hitler killed 6 million. Hitler killed 6 million people, and he would have killed most of you. Okay,
Right. That's right.
that's true. He would have killed most of you.
That's
I
the
would have
truth.
made it because I'm blonde and I have like an Aryan look, but most of you would have been gone. Okay, absolutely gone. All
That's
right.
right.
Hitler took kids and put them in gas chambers.
Right. And you know how?
Good. You want to? Good.
Can I tell him how?
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
had he had his henchmen
yeah.
dress
Good.
up like clowns
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
and took the kids and took them in the room and they all were
Yeah,
happy. Then they left in another door, closed the
they walked
door,
out the back. It was like a
and then
bus. The way the bus has the door in the front, the door in the back. They
right,
would walk in one, like
right.
walk in the back door, and walk up, and the kids would just follow them like the Pied Piper, and they'd walk out the front door and close it behind them, and then close the back door and gas
And
them.
that's coming from their boss, Hitler.
Hitler made furniture out of bones from people. He made lampshades out of skin. He made soap out of people bones. Um, let's see, what else can I tell you about Hitler? I mean, I shouldn't really have to say anymore.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Really?
Thank you.
The worst
Thank
thing you
you.
could possibly say about Trump is he had a bankruptcy. And I'd like to clear up something about that also really quick. Trump had
Wow.
a bankruptcy. Trump's bankruptcies, first off, he had over 200.
Everybody has them.
But wait, first off, Trump had the first thing they do is they go, "Oh, he's got 6 bankruptcies. He knows nothing about business." He had 250 businesses. So if 240 fucking of them, 244 of them were success and 6 went bankrupt, that would be an awesome fucking average. Awesome.
I can live with it.
But wait, let's talk about what put them bankrupt. There was a little thing called Katrina. I don't know if anybody remembers what that was. It was
Yep.
a storm called Katrina.
Yep.
Wrecked the casinos down in Jersey. Prior to that happening, the neighborhoods in Jersey started going down, Atlantic City, because anywhere you put casinos, you put money. Anywhere you put money, you put the negative
Right.
influence. thieves, you know, swindlers, etc. So first the neighborhood started going, which reduced the property values, and it also stopped people from going because you didn't want to go there and get shot. You know what I mean? That was
Right.
the key, which has
Right.
nothing to do with Trump's running of the casino. Let's talk straight. And then you had this freaking amazing storm coming, Katrina. It was unbelievable, and it wrecked Atlantic City. It literally wrecked it.
Yep.
So rather than him turning around and saying everyone in my buildings are fired, he took bankruptcy so he could ease out of it and he could still pay his people.
Right.
So that, just so you know, that's at least 3 of the bankruptcies that I know of.
Right. You
3
see?
that totally blew. Okay, it's possible, but
Right.
other than that, it's 244 that says he did okay. So before you
Please.
start like jumping in on all of that, know the man. Just know what you're actually saying. Don't just follow what people are talking to you about.
Right.
But I'm sorry.
It's true. They don't do their well. They did their research like Taylor Swift and that, but yeah.
They do the research only to the point that they like.
Awesome.
Once they
Hey,
find out the point they like, then they stop looking. You can't do that.
hey,
Leroy.
yeah, go ahead, Kerry.
Hopefully I'll be here by next week, but because this Tuesday, Ed knows, I'll be at a protest.
You
I'm going.
silly.
Look
I'm
for him on
going.
Fox News.
I'm going over by Fox News for a reason, but there's people there, and they're
He's going to
transgenders. They're Trump haters. They're calling them Nazi and everything. So this should be
Okay.
fun. So I'll let you know
Okay.
how it goes.
All right, I'll be praying for you. And before we end this podcast, you talked about Katrina. Give me give me a 30-second, 40-second snapshot. Or how was it when Sandy went up to your area over there in New York? How
Oh,
was Sandy?
that was bad. I'll tell
Good.
you, in my experience, because I was working at the time at the building, and I went back, not the next day, the day, I went back on Halloween, as a matter of fact, because we had it on October 29th. And I went over to the building because I was able to get there, a maintenance, so we had to do. Let me tell you something. We were underwater. We had 20 feet underwater in the basement. We lost all power. The streets of about 3 blocks forward, or up, was full of water from the river. I'm right by the water, so it was bad. It was
Okay.
bad.
Okay. So I'll tell you from my perspective. Okay. So Sandy comes, the rain there. Next day, so now it stops. So me, my son, and my daughter, and one of her friends go for a walk. We go down by the FDR Drive. You know the drive, right? So over by where the asphalt site is.
Oh, I love that place.
Right,
Oh,
right.
They
So we
fixed it
start
up nice.
walking there, and we're walking towards towards uptown, not downtown. We're going towards 90, towards like 102nd Street,
okay.
and we're looking over the side. We're looking like over that rail, the rail between the water
Yeah,
and
Yep.
right.
okay. We look down, and there's fucking 18 wheelers underwater. 18 wheelers underwater.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding
Yeah.
with you. I could have jumped over the side and stood on top of their roofs.
Bro, we
Their
had cars
My feet would have
flowing.
been 2 feet underwater,
Yeah.
but the 18 wheeler was under the
Yeah.
fucking water. I
Mm-hmm.
looked over. I saw the windshield first from the side,
Mm-hmm.
like from a side angle, and I said to Katie, my daughter, I said, "Wow, what the fuck is that?" She goes, "That's a truck." I was like, "No way!" And as I
Yeah.
went over, I took a rock and I dropped it on, and it stopped on the top of the thing. It was down about 2 feet underwater. So that truck was probably about 15 to 18 feet deep. Yeah, and
Bro.
it wasn't one, it was 3 back to back. One was on its side, so I could see the rim of the roof just sticking out. Yeah, that was bad, dude. That was
So did the water make it up to First Avenue?
oh, yeah, we had it
Oh
up to
yeah.
6th Avenue.
Oh yeah.
We had
Hudson River, the East River.
the only
Yo, we had
what?
cars flowing in the street.
You gotta remember, dude, that, at 2nd Avenue, the hill gets really high. So, like,
Yep.
the inversion is changes at 2nd Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
From 1st to 2nd, it's almost straight. So the water came right up on there. I mean, that was probably about 2.5, 3 feet of water. All of the subways.
So my stoop where I used to live at had water.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
probably up to
Yeah.
3rd or
Yo,
4th step.
bro. I'll block. Yeah.
That's the fourth step. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it was a tough one. That was
If I
a
would
Okay.
have
tough
We'll,
one.
went out, if I would have went out during the peak, the water would have been up to about my waist
It
on
was a
Second
tough
Avenue.
one. Yeah.
On Second Avenue.
okay. We'll talk about that in another episode. Well, guys, that's a wrap for tonight's episode of the Political Common Sense Podcast. But trust me, the conversation is just getting started. Next week, we're asking a question that nobody's brave enough to touch. Is the average American voter being emotionally manipulated? And do they even care? Because it feels
Great
the
question.
feeling
Good question. Good question.
because if feelings are replacing facts and vibes are replacing values, what does
Yeah, see, I
that
want to go
mean?
into this now. You should have done that because now I want to go into this. I have a great answer for it. Go ahead.
So what does that mean for our democracy? Ed Curry, final thoughts before we sign off.
Yeah, hey, Karen.
That's a good question. I'm not. Go ahead. You get that one. I'm still thinking
No,
about that
no, we're
one.
not going to answer that question. I don't
Now
even
we
answer
pass that. What's your
Oh
final
yeah.
thoughts as far as your
that.
Oh,
donations?
final thoughts. Yeah. Listen, everyone, just you know, do your own research, look at things up, find out for yourself. But right now, I just want to bring across that we have this is Passover week, so it's a peaceful week.
Wishing you all the
So
best.
wishing you all the best. Okay, and a good God blessing. It's a peaceful time. Take it nice and easy.
Okay, I'm in now. Okay, now being that's Passover, I wasn't even going to use that, but I'm going to use that now to maybe guilt you into something. Being that's Passover, it means that you made it another year, and you're telling your stories, and you're doing. If you're Jewish, you're telling. I believe that's what they do. I believe they pass on the stories at this point, if I'm right.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes, yes, yes.
Other than that, you're looking towards Easter, with the re-rising of Jesus and whatnot. Okay, so you got all of this going on. There's a lot of people out there who have that. That's all like this existential type stuff, or this out there. There are people who have like really major problems, and they really could use your help. If you get a chance, throw like 10, 20, 50 cents, dollar, whatever you got. It doesn't even matter. Over
St. Jude,
or St. Jude's or Wounded
Tunnel,
Warrior, some of the towers.
Tunnel
Anyway,
Towers.
try to keep in mind that people really do have major needs, and
Yes,
you're talking about like a couple of cents. A couple of cents times a ton of people equal a lot. So you take a penny, and 100 people turn it into a dollar. You know what I mean? It,
now,
it it's a dollar that they didn't have.
right.
It's a dollar that
Now,
might
we,
push them over the edge.
one more thing. We talk about the law. I talk about the law, the government law 101, but there's a law in religion too. It's about giving and receiving. It's about giving. So this is the time of the year.
Guys, we wish you all the best.
Be
Lee, have
safe.
a great
Have
one,
a
pal.
Passover.
Thank you. Love you guys. You guys are the best. I appreciate it, man.
Right back
Brother
at you.
Leroy.
All right, I'm gonna fix these gremlins over here so we can get back up and running next week, man.
Oh,
And
good
we're
luck, man.
out.
Good luck.